Let's move on to the East. I really, really, really enjoyed that game last night. I'm so excited to talk about it. The fact that the Pacers and the Knicks are just basically the most fun franchises to have in a playoff matchup across the history of the NBA, apparently. They just always are going to give you a good time, a good show. The fact that I was sort of paying attention to it, kind of half watching it. I think this is probably the everybody's experience. Tell me if you had a different one, but I'm sort of half paying attention to it. At that point, I'm starting to sort of lose focus because it looks like the Knicks definitely have it in the bag, right? So I'm starting to go like, okay, like what do I think of this game overall? Like, what do I think happened? What do I think is going to happen across the whole series, right? Sort of like we did for the Western Conference. While they're still playing this second game right now, but we're you kind of have to do the post mortem of the first one. And I was in post mortem mode like already, and Bobby was like, "Man, it was so frustrating." It's he texted in the group chat. He said it's so frustrating to watch this Knicks teams dominate because we dominated them for so many minutes across our series. Like a large percentage, I think, Bobby, was your point of the Celtics Knicks series. We were up by like so many points. So then we started doing a fucking what the fuck with the Celtics as the Indiana Pacers started to come back. And I mean, there's all sorts of stats out there that you can go look up about how many times a team has come back when they were down at us with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. It's like 1,000 plus to it's never happened. Now it's happened once. So it was an incredibly fun comeback to watch. I was really, really scared that Halliburton, because he had only hit the two, that was going to influence the momentum of overtime and they weren't going to win, and he was going to have done the choke. And then like obviously you just do it right fucking back to him if they don't end up winning the game, but he does like that. I mean, he must have felt an insane sense of relief, but I I'm not going to sit here and move the tenor of this conversation in the direction of like the Knicks are mentally weak, like the Knicks. I don't think that they are. I think that they'll recover from that probably pretty well. What I will say is, despite some defensive issues that I think that the Pacers definitely have and they need to deal with, they seem like they had a lot. They had a lot to give the Knicks like down the stretch. And like, I guess conventional wisdom will say, like, are you going to have a Nesmith game like that? Because that was the Nesmith game, right? Like, that's what that was. Are you going to have another one like that down the stretch? No, but I bet Halliburton could fucking go off. I bet some stuff could happen. I bet we could see some stuff actually come down where this Pacers team wins. Do they have some defensive issues? Yeah, but could they ride this momentum, Bob? Could they ride it? Because it was fucking crazy.
Yes, they can. They can score with anyone. I'm pretty sure the past 2 seasons they were top five in offense. Pascal
Their offense is
Siakam.
great.
Yeah, I mean, if they get nights like they did from Siakam, Nesmith, Nemhard, and Turner again, I definitely think that they have a chance in this series. If those guys can stay up and stay going, they definitely have a chance. I completely agree with that Halliburton. I love how he did the choke and pointed right at Reggie Miller too as he was
Apparently, him
doing
and
it.
Reggie are boys. Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
yeah, they're deep.
He
Yeah, they go
he
deep.
like he like is a mentor to him. Like he helps him out. They text daily. According to Tyrese Haliburton, they text daily. So I mean, should we
He
have the
said he
Tyrese
planned it.
Haliburton sort of?
He knew he was going to do the choke celebration at some point. He said.
He did say that, which I appreciated. And then he said something about aura farming, which I can kind of gather what that means from context. But I'm like, oh, I am getting old for sure. I think we should have the sort of general Tyrese Haliburton conversation. Like I think we should talk about, because it's a similar conversation to the Jason Tatum conversation we're always trying to grapple with, right? Where it's like, why is he viewed a certain way in the NBA and broader NBA culture? I think my initial guess, now, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a little bit more Carlton than Will. I think we can agree, right? He has a little bit more Carlton than Will about him. However, I think he has a degree of showmanship, much like Carlton. I mean, have you seen the man dance? I think he has a degree of showmanship that can really be appreciated. I think doing the Reggie Miller choke, the kind of game that he plays, how he reacted to the being rated most overrated, how he is in interviews. I mean, speak on it, because like I really like the guy. That's sort of where I'm landing. I'm really coming around to Tyrese Haliburton in this postseason.
So, I don't know I don't think we started the show when this happened, but some that know me off the air know how high I was on Halliburton before the draft in 2020. I said he was there, go get him. The kid can play, and I feel real validated at this moment. Once again, they have to get on and do it, but he's bounced back in a major way because people, when he got injured, folks were kind of, they were piling on. I'm just like, nah, like when he's healthy, the dude can hoop, and we're seeing that. And it's very ironic that the two most disrespected players, one's out now with Tatum, but that was disrespected in the Olympics, and now he's now in the Final Four and has a chance to go on to the NBA Finals. So I love that, for him. But yeah, I don't know why he's viewed as that. I mean, once again, he's been consistent. He was over there in Sacramento. He got dealt over there in the Sabonis trade, and he's been hooping. And yeah, I love the run that he's on right now because the fact that your peers are saying it is one thing for the fans to do the vote.
I know that's a slap in the face. They honestly shouldn't have asked that question.
The players are saying that shit. Okay, cool. So, but once again, you can click on the screen. You can click on a Google form. You can do all that. You got to see me on these 94 feet, buddy. You got to see me. And now every time I see every one of y'all, I'm gonna give you that work. Period. And I love what he's doing, and I hope that he continues to do it. And that team is flying high right now. Once again, they took their lumps last year against us, and once again, that was the hardest series we had, even though it ended in sleep. That was by far the hardest series we had last year. Nemhard is a problem. Benedict Mathurin is a problem. Like, they got guys that can hoop. So just don't be surprised if things keep going serious.
Tobin was a problem last game. I feel like, I think what I like about them, does anyone else get like a little bit of a Brad Stevens Celtics vibe off them from time to time?
Yeah.
They're like really moving the ball. They're like super unselfish. They move the ball really, really rapidly. Like they let the ball do the work, which I think is like a cliche, but a cliche for a reason, right? And I think they're a lot of fun to watch because of that. I mean, Bobby was high on them coming into the playoffs, and I think he, like, you had it for this reason because it's like there's something to really cheer for about them, to the point where I would love it if it was T-Wolves Pacers personally. Like, that would be my dream matchup. Because like I want to see the Knicks fail now.
Can I validate that point for you? You just made? So who's their coach in Indiana?
Carlisle,
right? So he played on the '86 Celtics.
Yeah.
That was the best passing team of all time.
Yep.
So it's not
an accident.
It's not a coincidence that his team plays like that, because he's seen it in real time. He was like, I played with the Hick from French Lick. I played with Robert Parrott. I played with McHale. I played with Danny Ainge. So it's not a coincidence that he's coming out there and his DNA is in that team. It was like in Dallas as well. This is what he does.
I also think the Pacers as a franchise have an identity. You know what I mean? I think that they have they're a certain, like, I think that the issue I was just talking about this with my mother-in-law, actually. She was over for dinner and the basketball was on, and she was just listening to me talk about how egregious it was that the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, she had no idea what I was talking about. She was just sitting there politely, but I was just ranting.
Basketball was on.
Yeah, while basketball was on, I was just ranting on and on about how it's criminal that the Oklahoma City Thunder exist, because the Seattle Supersonics were a real franchise in the NBA. You know, like when you're watching the coolest of old school footage of, like, mid '90s basketball, you're watching Gary Payton, you're watching Sean Kemp, you're watching these guys that had a certain identity. Like, I thought Kevin Durant was gonna be a part of that legacy, and I'm kind of looking at this OKC team, and it's like, when they put highlight packages together for them, they play Supersonics highlights, and I'm like, fuck you. Like, what's like, you don't get that. Like, that's fucked up. Like, that belongs to the city of Seattle more than, like, I don't know, like the letterhead that you brought like down to Oklahoma fucking City. So when I look at teams like the Pacers, and I guess to a certain extent the Knicks, although there's obvious like sort of rivalries built in like that for us, it just makes me happy to see teams like that in and around the NBA conversation, because, like, I don't want to see the Oklahoma City Thunder do well. You know what I mean? Like, there's no core memory of them for me. I guess like Russ and KD, but it was like, when they left, were you all that broken up about, like, for the Thunder when that happened? Like, I don't think so. So
I mean, I wanted them to win in 2012, though.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But that was because of what we were talking about earlier, because of the what they were up against. But I think that when you're looking at these sort of teams, I'm just sort of like, I think I'd be bummed, I guess, if the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship this year. It It feels like the path of least resistance, and I'm just trying to find a way to really appreciate the identity of.
That was the Boston Celtics last year. You can't say that, Dave. You know,
Yeah, but I like them.
Let's go, bro.
Minus 220. Oklahoma City is their
That's
favorite.
pretty
Minus
likely.
220.
That's a pretty likely set of odds. Like that's
Yeah.
the experts seem to think that it's done at that point. So I mean, I'm just trying to find a way. Overall, though, I'd love to hear what everybody thinks about this matchup between the Knicks and the Pacers from a Knicks perspective, because I know we have to go away from our hurt feelings from the last series, but we might use this as a jumping off point to talk about the Celtics from a Knicks perspective. Mike, how do you feel they're going to get back up and dust themselves off, and how much of a chance do you think they have to actually do that based on the fact that they're probably the team you've watched the closest that's left in this, right? Because they just played your team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I don't know how many more games you're going to get where Cat and Brunson give you almost 80 points just out of the two of them.
Sure.
And they lost that game.
But Cat was also like late to a shitload of assignments down the stretch, looked really fucking leggy and tired, and still does really stupid foul, gets in really stupid foul trouble. So
listen, I had enough of him in our brief series with them.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan either. I think listen, I can't hate, and I'll never hate on Jalen Brunson ever. Like, that guy will keep the Knicks in every game. But I do think
okay. I'll take care of it.
It's going to be a series. It's going to be a series like this that's going to show you like why Tibbs, why his way of coaching and running that team into the fucking ground in the regular season is going to bite him in the ass. Because Indy can play. I mean, they can outscore the Knicks, and their defense, it's not great, but it's also not fucking terrible. It's not what we were playing against them in Game 6.
It's the worst defense.
They're
playoffs, though. I'll say that.
Sure, but I honestly don't think that the Knicks are going to pick themselves back up and dust themselves off.
Oh wow, you're going Pacers, huh?
As a fan of the team, that just blew multiple 14-point leads in a series, it's pretty hard to overcome that.
Like
Brunson had 43 points and was a -8 somehow. I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's because he's on the floor for the entire game.
Happen.
Yeah.
You can't judge the plus minus of the Knicks.
No, right, but
never
that
fucking sit down.
That can't happen, bro. Like, that cannot happen. That it's one thing to be a 14 with 9 minutes, whatever, like we were a couple of times and whatever, because even that's still a lot of time. You're 14 with 2.5 minutes, bro, and you not only did you let them tie the game, but you lose the game.
But that is what happened, though.
Like,
they fully decided the game was over. Like the Knicks.
That's wild though. Like,
we've seen that.
Listen, shout out to
shit, huh?
He had 20 in the fourth, y'all. 20. Aaron Nesmith had 20 points in the fourth.
Nesmith was unbelievable.
Unreal.
He had 18 points. He had 18 points in the final 4 minutes.
Crazy.
It was worse, right? It was worse that it was Nesmith, because you were just like watching a guy that played for us, like he was like playing the game of his life in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We would do that trade 10 out of 10, because at the time Brogdon was much better, and once again, that trade got us.
Brogdon turned into a lot. Yeah,
I'm okay with that. So Nesmith still paid dividends. So thank you. But yeah. But
no, I'd like him back now though.
It was hard. It was hard to see him give a 30 piece. Cause I was like, well, damn. I said that 30 piece would have been nice to have in Game 6 if that was the case.
I would have taken you could shave 10 off that. If anyone could have gotten fucking 20.
20, right?
Like, that would have been fucking great.
But that's the thing though. Like, and remember, that's what he was supposed to be coming out of Vanderbilt, right? We picked him at 14, and he had shot like 52% at Vanderbilt. So he was coming in.
Program. What a time Vanderbilt's having right now, huh? Like, there's fucking Vandy kids everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So actually, Luke Cornett's a Vanderbilt Commodore too. So he went to this, but so it's just like that to me.
Cornett's a free agent, is what he is.
They might have been teammates actually.
He's about to get paid.
Teammates. Cornett and it might have been teammates. I don't know, but I think Luke's a little bit older. But anyways,
he just looks funny.
It's wild. Like I said, it was cool to see, but like I said, you hit. And with 2.5 minutes, you up 14 like that. And once again, it's funny how that always happens in Game 1s against Indiana and New York, huh? I was like crazy ass comebacks. That's wild though. It's crazy.
All right, everybody, give me their winner and how many games. Bob, starting with you.
Damn, I don't know. I'm gonna go Pacers in 7. I think it's gonna be a great series. I think
I respect
we're
it.
gonna see a couple more overtime games, a couple more comebacks. It's gonna be one of those crazy ass series.
I'll take it. Mike,
Pacers in 7.
2 Pacers in 7. Wow, I love this. Ray,
Yeah, Knicks at 7.
did you
Wow.
did you say Knicks, Mike, or did you say Pacers?
No, he said
Pacers.
Pacers. No, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you got so. Think about what Bobby said a few moments ago, right? He mentioned 4 or 5 guys that have to play right. Like when New York, it's been a switch off, right? One day it's OG, next day it's Hart, it's Mikal Bridges. Like Brunson's been the constant, right? Towns, despite of what people may feel about him, has for the most part has been a constant. So I just think that they raise the level a little bit more when they need to, especially during this run. And I still think Brunson's the best player in the series when everything is even. So yeah, I think Indiana's going to push them further because New York's going to have a game that they trick off like they did last night. But to me, I just feel like it's their time to make it to the finals. I just do. when they remember last year, Dave, when we was on there, and I remember when Dallas beat OKC, I said this team is going to the finals, and he was like, I don't know. I don't know. I get that same feeling. I think if they're, I don't think
It'll be exactly the fucking same if they do, because they're showing up to get their ass whooped by the team.
No,
across
sure.
the board.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'm just saying. I just think it's their time to get to the finals. So
I think that's fair enough. I was just thinking about it. If I think about it from a series perspective, I feel like I want to say that if I'm going to take the Pacers, I would take them in 6 because they've taken home court now, and like that, if they win that game at home court, then they've done what they needed to do, right? So just by statistics in my head, if I am going to take the Pacers, I got to take them in 6. But then I think to myself, that means they got to win 3 games in a row. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to win 3 games in a row, home or away, against this Knicks team. So I'm going to go with these guys. I'm going to go Pacers in 7, just to give myself a little room, and we'll do a 3-1 on that.